In my book, Awake, It's Your Turn, I promise that you can wake up from the dream of separation. And this whole awakening process has different phases, different landmarks to it. But the point at which the illusion of separation completely drops is non-dual, formless non-dual, or boundless non-dual realization. And so some of these videos, I point you directly to that. So understand that if there hasn't been any shift in identity, this may be a bit obscure, but it's certainly valuable to do the inquiry with me or investigate in the way we're going to talk about in this video. But just know that you almost certainly won't just have this sudden shift into non-duality without any kind of previous insight. Could happen, anything could happen, but if you're interested in earlier awakening type pointing, check out my playlist, Awakening Approaches. So when we're talking about non-dual, not two, non-duality, meaning not two, it's literally that. Just not two, not three, not four, not 10, not 20, not 1,000, not 1,000,000, not 1,000,000,000, meaning multiplicity itself is seen through. So what is it like to live in a world without multiplicity? What is it like to live in a world without division between the viewer and that which is viewed? Well, one answer to that question is there's no way that it's like in such that I could put it into words. Because words are kind of based on observation of the world through a perceptual filter of separation. So language was developed after we started to, I assume, and it seems like it, after we started to perceive the world as divided up into different people, different objects, different spaces, and so forth. And language is kind of contingent upon that way of perceiving. So the non-dual way of perceiving is actually before all that. It feels like primal more. It feels like primary or very natural rather than any kind of construct, any kind of constructed experience, any kind of experience that requires energy input or effort. It's before all of that. So it's a kind of prior to way of experiencing. So with that said, I could almost just say, just notice what's right in front of your face. Just actually see what's there and don't add to it. And that is non-dual insight. That is non-dual realization. However, and this is a very important point, believing in anything I say doesn't do the trick. I think there are many people out there who read about stuff like this, read about awakening, non-duality, no self-realization, and understand it, at least to some degree, or in the most clear way you can understand something through concepts, but don't have the insight. So I'm only interested in the insight as far as the way I talk about this or why I talk about it. So understand that getting what I'm saying from a conceptual standpoint, not helpful. In fact, when I see comments under my videos that are like, I didn't understand anything you said in this video, but I sense something real there. That's good. That means it's worked. Because if you understand it or you think you understand it, it's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a conceptual framework. I'm talking about seeing clearly what's actually here before your mind turns it into something it's not. And that happens so quickly, so fast. It happens before you think about anything. It happens before you analyze anything or judge anything, or certainly happens before you conceptualize through doctrine or analysis or scientific rigor. It's before all of that. And it does happen quickly. It's a very fast processing experience. But it is an experience and it is processed. So what's unprocessed? What happens instantaneously before anything moves? It's not even happening. What's here instantaneously before there's processing? All of these questions I'm asking, you can stop and actually ask yourself the question and spend time with it. But it's kind of preliminary to what I want to get to here. But I never know what's going to wake an individual up or what's going to drop their sense of separation into oblivion, and they see what is, and it's revealed clearly ongoing. I don't know what's going to do that for you. So the questions themselves can be valuable, right? It's kind of challenging your system of fabrication that happens so quickly that it's easy to overlook. It's also important to point out that it's more than just the speed at which the processing occurs. It's that the sense of self, the sense of you, the analytical you, the judging you, the thinking you, is actually, that itself comes after what I'm talking about. So that sense of the thinking you, the historical you, the you that thinks it gathers information and knows things about itself in time, that actually is an outgrowth of the first illusion that happens quickly. So that one isn't going to turn around and understand this. It's not that kind of thing. It's more of an instinctual thing. The instinct comes forward or just finds itself as true. But it's not a self. It's not a individual. It's not a thinking being. It's reality itself. It's appearance itself, which is always here, always this, intimate. Intimate, by intimate, I mean closer than close. By intimate, I mean it feels more accessible than anything the mind accesses. It's more tangible, actually, than any thought or symbolic way of perceiving reality. It's also not coming and going. It's not contingent upon experience. That's a hard one to explain, but in direct recognition, it's obvious. So when you're looking out into the visual experience, let's call it the visual field, the scenery, where is the seeing? And as I say every time I do this, these questions are not meant to invoke a thought-based answer. So if you have an analytical answer to the question, if your mind starts saying, well, the seeing is blah, 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 blah. The seeing is in the brain processing or it's in the retina. That's a thought. It's important to see that that's a thought. That's not what I'm talking about. So if that happens, it's okay. If a thought says, oh, I know where the seeing is, it's in whatever, my occipital lobe, or it's in the room or whatever. That's not really what I'm pointing to. Just let that thought be there. Notice it as a thought and then let it go. Where's the seeing? Does it feel more here or there, meaning inside you or outside of you? Let's say it's a tree that you're looking at. Where's the seeing? Does it feel more like it's in the tree? Does it feel more like it's in your body? Does it feel more like it's somewhere in between? Where's the seeing? There's obviously seeing, right? It seems like it. The visual experience is just there. Maybe there's no seeing. Can that visual experience be there even if there's no seeing, no active seeing? Sure. But look at it. Look for it. See it. Let it overtake you. Let it be what it is. Let it stand on its own. Where's the seeing? Doesn't seem like it's inside the body somewhere, right? If you're, say, looking out at a field or into the sky, the seeing doesn't seem like it's in some body that you can't even see at that moment. The seeing is where it is, right? It's just where it is. Could it also be out there in the sky? That it kind of ignores something we seem to know about ourselves, that we seem centered in some kind of body. So neither of those are really satisfying answers. They don't make a lot of sense, logically even. And yet, here it is. Where's the seeing? You can even move your attention slowly from what feels like close, subjective, like in here to out there, and ask, where's the seeing? When you do this, the moving of the attention, is the attention actually going somewhere in the seeing itself, in the visual experience itself? These questions I'm asking kind of quickly, but you can spend 30 minutes on a walk with one of these questions. That's the way this works. Because again, it's not about analysis. It's about clear seeing. Parsing through experience to find out what's real and what's not real. So if you feel like you can move attention from close to far, or from inside the body to outside the body, what is that? What's actually happening there? Is something going somewhere? Or does that require some kind of thought or concept to make that appear? And yet the scenery is just here. Just what it is. Can you move attention through scenery? Or is the scenery and the attention the same? Can you find some formless awareness outside the scenery? Or is the awareness and the scenery exactly the same thing? So yeah, ask these questions. Where is the seeing? And then let the scenery overtake the experience in totality. That's the best way I can say it. You're not going out to experience. You're not imposing something on experience. You're certainly not analyzing experience. And by experience, I mean the visual. You're not doing something to it. You're not trying to find something within it, really. You're letting it overtake. You're letting it stand on its own, fully, without adding any fabrication. Where is the seeing? Let me know how that goes.